If someone tells me I can't navel gaze, I call them ableist. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to the weekly Navel-Gazing, where we talk about all the things I didn't do last week. And then I tell you all the books that I looked at last week, and then I talk about all the things that I plan to do this week, so we have something to talk about next week when I tell you why I didn't do those things, right? And then I ramble about shit. Anyway, that's what we're doing here. Thanks for watching, if you're actually watching. Let's look at all the books that I read last week, because I did read books, actually. Much to my surprise. See, what did I read last week? I finished Stories About Stories, Fantasy and the Remaking of Myth by Brian Attebery, which is a book about, well, mythology and fantasy, and it's a really good book, and it gave you a lot to think about, and I'm still thinking about it, and maybe I'll even talk with other people about it, because I feel like there's something in there that I'm interested in, and that I can't talk about on my own, or feel it's wrong to talk about on my own, and that is mythology or myth, and appropriating myth under, colonialism and so forth. It's a topic where I would like to talk to, well, people from groups that have been exploited in that regard. I am thinking about it. We will see. Beyond that, what else did I read? Well, I started reading a book called The Modern Construction of Myth by a guy called von Hendy, which is one of the funniest names in German that you can think of, but it's, it's a book about, mythology or the myth and how it was rediscovered, constructed, and so forth as an idea during the 18th and 19th and 20th century. It's a really good book. I'm enjoying it so far. It's academic reading. There may be a purpose behind it. We will see. But I did also read fiction, or sort of fiction, I guess, because it's sometimes difficult to say that. So, I started rereading Les Morts d'Arthur, which is obviously Sir Thomas Malory's exhaustive, repetitive story of all the things Arthur did and all the other knights did, which is usually punching each other and fucking each other's wives, which, good for them. It's chivalry. It has a death toll that seems to be higher than both world wars together, and so forth. I read it a while ago, like a decade ago, and I did, start a reread for educational purposes for Sunday school, and it's something I've been reading over the week. I'm not yet done with my reread. It's a long book, but yeah, that's something that I read last week. What else did I read? I did a reread of The Amazing Morris and His Educated Rodents for the Terry Pratchett Discworld read-along. We had our conversation about it yesterday. It's the first of Terry Pratchett's Discworld YA novels. It's pretty dark. It's a lot of fun. Also, it has a talking cat and talking rats and other fun things. I liked it a lot, and there will obviously be a video about it. So there's that. What else did I read? Oh, right. I did reread The Wandering Fire by Guy Gavriel Kay for Sunday school. I still like it a lot. It's a great book. Go read it if you haven't, and then go watch the Sunday school video. Anyway, what else did I read? I did read for an offline book club with friends that I have. I read The Air Affair by Jasper Fforde, and it's a bad book. I didn't like it. It's, it's interesting in a way. I'll not make a video about it, I'm pretty sure. Because it's so far away from anything I usually read. So it was really fascinating to approach that and look at the book and like, wow, this is something that people love. It has like 140,000 almost ratings on Goodreads. Gods, what are you people doing? To be clear, it's not the worst thing I've ever read. It's just weirdly stupid to me. But yeah, that's that. We will see. So that's my readings of last week, I think. I am currently still reading, Les Morts d'Arthur, and I'm still reading the, Construction of Modern Myth. There will be other books this week, I'm sure. I'll not say I'll read Maror this week because it got pushed back. It should have been out last week, and it got pushed back to tomorrow. Yeah, I'll believe it when I have it. We will see. Should it happen, that's what I'll read. Should it not happen, I have a lot of other Arthurian stories lying around that I want to read or reread because, yeah, we'll do an excursion on Sunday school next week, I feel. So I'm doing Arthurian readings this week or Maror, depending on what happens. That's the plans for reading this week. Anything else? I don't know. That's reading plans enough, right? There's enough Arthuriana that I could spend years reading that stuff. I'll limit it to 1 week. So videos and stuff, right? Well, I made 2, published 1. That's the point. I did publish another Sunday school edition. It came out yesterday. It came out slightly earlier than last week. But I'm still, I still have to practice to get that stuff out, during Sunday, maybe afternoon or whatever, so it's a bit more accessible and whatnot. And I talked about the connections between fantasy and mythology or myth, especially when it comes to world building and the likes. And we looked at, once again, the Fiona of Our Tapestry by Guy Gabriel Kay, which is a fantastic story and does, do the world building through mythology bit extremely well. So that's what I recorded yesterday, and I'm happy with the video. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Tell me what you think about it, and so forth. That's the video. I did record a video that I'm not really happy with yet. Might have to redo it. We'll see. On the Tolkien cult, because I want to engage with how Tolkien is viewed within fantasy in a lot of ways where I think they might be harmful. And, I just want to, stir the shit a bit, I guess, is the point there. I made that video. Maybe I'll redo it, but it will be out this week. I promise you that. That will happen either tomorrow or Wednesday, something like that, because there's obviously other plans for this week. And let's talk about those. Let's make some more promises that I will not keep, or maybe not keep. There will, of course, be a Discworld video on the amazing Maurice and his educated rodents. Yes, I'm aware that technically The Last Hero is before The Amazing Maurice in publication order. The problem with that one is it's a picture book, so to speak. I mean, it has a lot of illustrations, and they're important to the story, so I'm not sure if I feel confident or qualified to talk about that book. If I could do it, definitely. And I've listened to the audiobook before. I know the story. Let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about that one, if you want me to tackle that one as well. I can definitely do that. It's a short book, no problem. But definitely, The Amazing Maurice will be talked about this week. Yes, the Tolkien Cult video will be out this week, I'm pretty sure. Beyond that, well, there will be Sunday School on Sunday, which will be a continuation of the mythology bit from yesterday. But I want to look at, myth retellings next week. Which is why we only scratch the Fiona of Our bits slightly. And which is why I'm currently reading different Arthurian retellings or tellings and so forth. So my idea was, after, looking at the breadth of different pantheons and different mythologies and how they can be mixed and added into one world, one fantasy book, next time I want to look at one specific myth, or in this case a legend or a collection of legends, and how they can be adapted and changed over time through different lenses and so forth, which is sort of the idea with what I want to do next week. Before we then look at the deeper thing, which I feel makes more sense, which will be The Darkest Road. The Darkest Road, yeah, that's the word, for the third Fiona of Our book, and we'll talk about mythology, well, not so much mythology, but more like psychology, psychoanalysis, depth psychology, and a bit of philosophy in fantasy. That's sort of where I'll talk about, people like Joseph Campbell and C.G. Jung and people like that, and how they have impacted fantasy. But that's like 2 weeks in advance. So we'll do an Arthurian excursion on Sunday. That's the plan, at least. Beyond that, it's time to do another live stream. So remember, like a while ago in February, we did our live stream, and it was called Monthly Marxist Malcontent. Um, yeah, there's a word in there, right? That's malcontent. But the important one you should focus on right now is monthly. And that means, because we're getting close to the end of March, there will be another one. So this Saturday, the usual time for me, 1 hour later for those of you who have already moved over into the summer times kind of thing, which I guess is the US and Canada. Yeah, Saturday. I'll try to set it up early. I have some ideas of what we'll talk about. Maybe this Reddit top 100 fantasy series list might be something that might come up. Some fallout to the Tolkien stuff might come up. Possibly questions for Sunday school that you want to ask. That kind of stuff will come up. We'll see. That's sort of the ideas for the live stream. Should you have time on Saturday, I'd definitely be very, very happy to see you there. That would be really cool. I enjoyed the last 2 live streams. It's something that I, enjoy a lot, having some banter with you guys, back and forth, answering questions, that kind of thing. We'll see how it goes. That's the plan for Saturday. Live stream on Saturday, Sunday school on Sunday. Beyond that, well, Talking Cult and Discord thing. Sounds like a very busy week for me, right? Good thing I bought new beer. So that's the video plans. What else is going on, and what did I want to devolve this in? Well, I guess partly, definitely, the idea of whether I should talk about The Last Hero, because I'm, there's pictures in there that are important, illustrations in there that are important, and I can't see them. So the question is like, am I qualified to talk about it? Am I not? Should I make this an issue? Should I go back and talk about, my disability? Because it's something that I don't want to bring up too much. I don't want to, exclude it, but it's sort of, tied into my personality in a way that I'm not always happy with. And it sometimes makes me uncomfortable, or I'm very cautious to bring it up. But sometimes I feel the need to talk about it, because obviously it's something that I reflect a lot on, how that impacts my life in my ongoing journey to become a less terrible human, I guess, is the goal here. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. Maybe there will be something in that way, but as I said, I'm not quite sure. As I mental health and a physical disability are not a good combination, which is sort of where I am struggling with a lot. And I've been struggling a lot over the last week. I don't know why. I can't put words on it, but it's certainly not been an easy week to do anything or get anything done. I hope things will get better. It's getting warmer out there. I'm doing the gym stuff. I'm working out, shit like that. I hope it'll get better. We will see. But for now, I'm sort of in this vague, what kind of, yeah, you know what I mean? In this vague kind of place where I'm not sure where I'm going in a way. I started out this year super active, well, for my, for me, it was fairly active, a lot of videos, stuff like that. And it started out properly, but it feels like I'm in this weird limbo nowhere zone right now. Both of videos, I'm obviously not doing a I Hate Wheel of Time thing right now, which kind of brought me through the first couple of months last year, or like a full-on Malazan raiding thing, which is, what I did the year before. So I'm way less, I'm posting less frequently. I'm not sure, I hope that the videos that I put out this year are better in quality, so that makes up for the lack of, quantity. But I can't judge, because, the numbers don't necessarily bear that out, so who knows? It's one of those things that I'm worried about, and, seeing the field of BookTube move on. Now everyone is obviously reading The Way of Idan, which is coming out tomorrow, and there's all these videos already by all kinds of booktubers that have already read the book, and yeah, I'm really excited for everyone, but it's the next big topic that I won't be able to talk about, because the audiobook will be coming out later, and there's to make this very clear, this is not to blame anyone. Not to blame anyone, just like it wasn't to blame anyone back in the day when everyone was talking about Jenny Wirtz's Wars of Light and Shadow, which, people are still doing. It's like, there's things that are not accessible, and in the way that BookTube is very much a community-driven thing, once you're not able to participate in something like that, it's sometimes difficult, right? It feels like everyone's going on a school trip and you can't go because you're sick. If that makes any sense, right? But, you know, I'll just try to be a contrary bastard as usual and do my own thing, and that will be fine. And then I'll talk about Way of Idan when the audiobook is out in summer, and I'm excited for that. And I wish Philip, with his book, all the best. And should you start reading it tomorrow, I hope you enjoy it. Which brings me to the end of this rambling thing. Yeah, I hope you read a lot of cool books last week. I hope you enjoyed all the things that you did. Did you watch, if you watched one of my videos, thanks for that. I appreciate it. If you watched this one, thanks. I hope to see as many as possible on Saturday for the live stream. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on things that we should, you know, talk about on Saturday in the comments. And tell me what you read this week. And I'll see you, hopefully, before Saturday in videos that I plan to make. And until then, thanks and cheers.